Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines X factor as a circumstance, quality, or person that has a strong but unpredictable influence. And for each quarterback that we're going to talk about in this video, I think that definition works perfectly. These are some guys who I think have the capability to make a big difference in this league, but for whatever reason, we just don't know. We do not know the kind of quarterback that they're going to be, how good they really are, or what they're going to do for their team. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 4 quarterbacks that I think could be big X factors in this NFL season. I think that their ability and their performance on the field is going to have a huge impact on the NFL season as a whole. Now, before any of you guys ask, I am not going to include rookies on this list. My criteria for this list is going to be guys who are unproven and unknown, for that matter, but that are not rookies. So you'll see as we get into the list what I mean, but that is my criteria. I'm not talking about rookies. And before we get into the list, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 10 million subscribers. I would really appreciate it if you guys could help me get that. All right, let's go ahead and get right into the list. So my first quarterback that I think is going to be a big X factor this season in the NFL is Sam Howell. Sam Howell is now the starting quarterback in Washington. He had that last start of the week in against Dallas for the Washington Commanders, and for all intents and purposes, I think he played really, really well, to be honest. But coming in this year, he's got a new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. He's got 3 really good receivers. He's got really good reviews so far from training camp. But again, we just don't know. He hasn't been a starter for more than 1 game. We just don't know. I think his performance on the field could take Washington from one of the most mediocre teams in the league to possibly even into playoff contention. I think he's a big X factor, and I think he's got a lot of weapons and a lot of tools around him to succeed. Now, again, the last quarterback that Eric Bieniemy coached was Patrick Mahomes. You know, not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but I think Sam Howell is such an unknown commodity right now. He's very talented. He's got a good arm. He's a very unknown commodity right now, so it is going to be very, very interesting to see how well he does in the Commanders' offense and how high he's able to take that team. My next X Factor quarterback on this list, perhaps the most obvious, is Jordan Love. Jordan Love has been in the league for about 3 or 4 years now, just kind of chilling on the bench behind Aaron Rodgers. And now that Aaron Rodgers is a member of the New York Jets, it's time for Jordan Love to step up and prove why he was a first-round pick all those years ago. Now, Jordan Love has seen limited action here and there, but really not enough data as a whole to really get a good evaluation of him, good, bad, or ugly. Some good, some bad. He's only had that 1 start against the Chiefs, which was mostly bad, but in the times that he played, coming off the bench last year, he did look a lot better. But again, we just don't know. Jordan Love is obviously replacing Aaron Rodgers, kind of following the Aaron Rodgers path, obviously. Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench for a few years, and then Brett Favre went to the Jets. Jordan Love sat on the bench for a few years. Now Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. So hopefully, him and Packers fans all think that he can have a similar Aaron Rodgers type career and that the Packers will just keep churning out Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But at this point, we don't know. What he should know, unfortunately, is that his little Father's Day message to the Bears made no fucking sense. But another thing that he should know is that he's got some also X Factor weapons around him. Christian Watson had a really big second half of the year last year, but how much of that was him and how much of that was just Aaron Rodgers, we don't know. I think he's a pretty good receiver, but he's got a lot of other unproven guys around him, like namely Romeo Doubs, who a lot of people are very high on. I do think he does have a good running game with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but that offensive line to me is still a big mystery. David Bakhtiari has been dealing with injuries and stuff like that, so it's going to be a big X factor, not only for the Packers in general, but Jordan Love specifically, I think is going to be one of the biggest X factor quarterbacks in 2023. My next X factor quarterback for 2023 is going to be Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder is pretty much now the unquestioned starter in Atlanta. Arthur Smith is kind of pushing all his chips in the table for Desmond Ridder, who last year sat on the bench for most of the year behind Matt Ryan. Did get a few starts last year, but again, really not a whole lot to sway me one way or the other. Desmond Ridder went to Cincinnati, had a very long and successful career there. Now he's coming into the NFL. And there are some mixed reports I've been hearing in camp about whether he's grasping the offense or not, or if he's ready. But it's the NFL offseason, it's OTAs. There's going to be reports about everything. What I will say for Desmond Ridder is that I think he has some really, really good weapons. Drake London is awesome. Kyle Pitts is awesome as well. Let's also talk about Bijan Robinson. I mean, come on, like the best weapon in the entire draft. pick number 7 overall. Tyler Algier is still a pretty good backup running back. He has a good a good core of weapons around him. He also has a pretty good offensive line as well. I think that's important to mention. But can he perform? Can he prove that he is a quality NFL quarterback? Marcus Mariota last year was not very good, and I wonder if the Falcons really upgraded too much at quarterback. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen him enough. He's an X factor to me. That division is very winnable. I would not be surprised if at the end of the year the Falcons ended up winning it, just because everybody in that division is pretty bad. So if Desmond Ridder is that guy, if he's that dude, you know what I'm saying, he could lead the Falcons to an NFC South division title. If he's not, the Falcons could be picking in the top 6 to 10 of the draft next year. Really all depends. And I think he's a big X factor. He's going to really determine the Falcons season for better or for worse. And then my last X factor quarterback, and he's been showing up on lists like this for literal years, that's going to be Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a guy who is very interesting to me because he was taken pick with the 3rd pick in 2021. 49ers gave up a lot of draft capital to go get him. They didn't really play him in his first year with Jimmy G, man in the boat and everything like that. And then this past season, he was going to be the starter, but he broke his ankle in the 2nd week after playing in a monsoon in week 1. Really haven't seen a lot of Trey Lance. And Brock Purdy stepped in last year and played well, and he won a bunch of games. So you would think that the job is for Brock Purdy. But again, Trey Lance was a 3rd overall pick in the draft. I'm sure he's going to get more of a chance to perform. Unfortunately, though, for Trey, I've been hearing a lot of bad things, regarding what they think about him, his practice habits, his mechanics, his decision-making, his processing, all of that. But I think Trey Lance will, at minimum, get a chance in this year. I really would be surprised if the 49ers were that ready to just disregard their 3rd overall pick. Not only the 3rd overall pick, but they gave up additional first to get him 3rd overall. Be really surprised if he doesn't get another shot. And honestly, I think that he is talented, he's mobile, and the biggest thing is he doesn't even have to be that great because the weapons around the 49ers are so good. George Kittle, All-Pro. Deebo Samuel, former All-Pro. Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, All-Pro. Brandon Ayuk, as I think one of the best young receivers in the NFL. That defense is among the best in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan's a great head coach. He has the perfect supporting cast around him. If he can unlock, I think, even half of his potential, this is a kid who could be very, very dangerous. So I would be very excited to see Trey Lance this year if I was a 49ers fan, and I think that he's a major X factor. I think that you're kind of capped with how good Brock Purdy's going to get, how good Sam Darnold's going to get. If you want the guy with the highest upside in that 49ers quarterback room, in my opinion, that's Trey Lance. So that would just be my 2 cents on this topic. So these are my 4 biggest X factor quarterbacks for the 2023 season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have a quarterback who's a big X factor to you that isn't a rookie, let me know down below. I can't wait to read your guys' comments. Honestly, I love it. It's my favorite hobby, other than spending time on Selena Gomez's Instagram page. But thank you guys all for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 10 million, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out. And